Let's look at the statement of financial position. When we look at the statement of financial position, we need to remind ourselves of the face of the financial position, and I'm going to show it to you now. This is what we have when we talk about the face of the statement of financial position. This is our face, and in this face we only write amounts. There is no details in this face of the statement of financial position. In order to write those amounts, like next to note 3, note 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and 9, in order to write those amounts in this statement of financial positions face, we have to have notes. Because in these notes, we clarify where we get the amounts from. So it's important that you know and remember that note 1 came from the income statement. So note 1 came from the income statement. Check in the balance sheet, in the face of the balance sheet. There is no note 1 there. So note 1 is not in the statement of financial position, but it is a note to the financial statements, and it's a note to the income statement. You need to know and remember, learn this off by heart, what the details are for this note, and then for the second note, what the details are. We've done that, so I am just going to go over this very, very quickly. Note 3 is the note that applies to my fixed assets. You can remember, that's where we report the accumulated depreciation when there was a disposal at carrying value, and we report the current year's depreciation, any movements, any sales of fixed assets, and we calculate all of this to get to this yellow block here. Just a reminder of note 3, no matter how many amounts are in this whole note, that yellow block, the carrying value total of all the fixed assets, that is the amount that we're going to write next to note 3 in the face of the balance sheet. Then we go back to notes. The next note we deal with is the inventory note. In this inventory note, we deal with the trading stock and consumables on hand. Now the trading stock could have changed as well. Remember that we often get that there is a stock deficit or a stock surplus. So any information that applies to your trading stock will be done in this note, and we will do it as follows. If we have to change trading stock, let's pretend that the trading stock amount was 40,000 Rand. And now the information is saying to you that there is 10,000 Rand of stock on the shelves. Then it means that 30,000 Rand is missing. Because in our trading stock account we've got 40,000 Rand, and we recorded it as we bought and sold stock. Yet at the end of the year, when we go to the shelves and we do the stock take and we count the physical stock on the shelves, the monetary value of that is only 10,000 Rand. So now I've got to adjust my trading stock account, and I do it, yes, definitely through the general journal, but for the purpose of our assessments and at school level in grade 11 and 12 and even 10, we will adjust it here and we will say, okay, so the actual amount that we have, note that I'm not writing 10,000, the actual amount that we have for trading stock then is 10,000 after we deducted the deficit of 30,000. Let's go over that again. We are just revising our adjustment, and the adjustment needs to be recorded somewhere when I do the financial statements and I do not do the general journal. If I don't do the general journal, and once again, only at school level you won't do the general journal. In the world after grade 12, you will definitely use a general journal. We do the adjustment next to the trading stock account in the note. So now it's adjusted to the 10,000 that we saw in our information. But we do this in our inventory note. Then you also came across a year-end adjustment where we said that stationery for the year was maybe 5,000 Rand, and yet at the end of the year there was 1,000 still locked away. It's not used, so it's on hand, it's available. So we don't deal with that as if it is an expense. So consumable stores on hand is a balance sheet account. Consumable stores, though, is an expense and an income statement amount. But the consumable stores on hand, if we say we have 1,000 Rand on hand, this is what we will write here. And then adding those two together will give me the 11,000 Rand that I have for inventories. But when we record it in the face of the financial statement, we're going to record next to inventory here. This is where I will record the 11,000 Rand. I'm just going to put this in yellow as well. So can you see that in the face of the statement of financial position, I do not have the details. So if I do want to know where did I get this from, where did this 11,000 come from, I then look at the note. And in the note, there will be the detailed explanation of how I got this 11,000. So we dealt now with the next note in the statement of financial position called inventory.